Welcome to Merit's Dabbling Path.
Money system is going to change, and based on that, like how everything being decentralized, how people are going to get out of poverty and all. But at the same time, like the people who are going to lose the money are afraid at the same time. People are going to lose control. And like now currently, who has control over the money? Like say central banks have control over the money. They decide to print money, they decide not to print money. They decide if there's going to be inflation in the economy or deflation in the economy or whatever. And based on that, people are suffering, right? But I feel if it goes down to what the people want, it'll all balance out. It'll take some time, but it'll all balance out to based on the people's needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what
Because dude, Merrick, I
technology is
feel
going to
all
do.
of this stuff is very, 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 very complicated. Very, very complicated.
It's
because
very complicated
we-
at the moment.
yeah.
Yes. So
Because see, we don't know how this thing is going to end up, what turn it's going to take, because that nobody can decide. Nobody knows,
yeah,
And we can
nobody
only predict what's going to happen.
Right. And I mean, the two of us sitting here, we cannot predict, but what we can do is we can see what some of the experts in the field are saying though.
Yeah, because see, the sentiment of crypto is very nice, bro, but you never know how it's going to turn out to be, Everything, when we start off, the sentiment is really nice, but how it turns out to be, right?
But the thing is with crypto, right? There's no authority on it, right? Like tomorrow, nobody can switch off Bitcoin, or tomorrow, nobody can
But
switch off any of it.
But the thing is that everything is on this ledger, no, for
Right.
crypto.
Right.
But this ledger, what if the ledger goes? What
Exactly.
if
So
there's one thunderbolt that comes and fucking destroys all our computer systems and shit? It
that
can
is
happen.
that is something that can happen. Like if we go dark, if we go back into the dark ages, and if there's no internet, if we go back, but that's not good. That's going to disrupt. That'll cause a total chaos, I feel, dude.
Exactly, because see
That's
that is also kind of the dangerous part of crypto.
right.
If we
Right.
go completely to crypto, then bro, what if because dude, right now we know that bro, we're just fucking
No,
humans
but
and we're
no,
slaves of this environment that we're in, right?
right. But if that happens, I don't think anything would have value. People will find value only in things that are going to sustain them. That is going to be like food and water. Only that will have value. If we go into the dark ages again, say if we lose electricity, right? Or if we are going to lose the internet, basically we are losing electricity. That's why we are going to be losing the internet. If we lose the internet, what's going to have value? Things that are going to keep us sustain, things that we can sustain ourselves with.
Food and water.
Food and water is
shelter.
that's going to have value. Now
Yeah.
whether if I have 10 gold chains at that point, I don't think that's going to have value, right? It's still
Exactly, yeah.
it's
Because
still
at that point nobody's
valuable.
thinking about gold.
Exactly.
Because they're thinking about the next meal.
Right. So keeping that argument aside, understood, if we go into the dark ages, then only food and water is going to be the value. Food, water, shelter, the basic human needs are going to be the value.
Yeah.
But if we are going to keep that argument aside, okay, keeping the argument aside, as in there's nothing going to happen to our internet and nothing going to happen to our electricity, because nobody can hack into the crypto scene, because it's a distributed ledger. That's the whole point of decentralization. There's no central
That
authority.
aspect of it, bro, I love that aspect.
Exactly. So if you love that aspect, you need to understand if that's going to be decentralized and nobody controls it, and then and keeping this argument, keeping this fact in check as well, that nothing's going to happen to the electricity, then that is the way forward for technology. That is the
And
way
bro, this concept
technology
they
is
should
gonna
use in
take
fucking
us.
everything.
Dude,
Even presidents of countries and
No,
shit like
so
that.
what
Bro, what the
happened-
fuck is all this nonsense?
So what happened is, in New York, I was talking to Vivek the other day on the podcast as well. In New York,
Who's
what
Vivek?
happened is, my friend in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. So in New York, what happened is, I think these crypto companies were growing and they're getting big, but they wanted support from the local government, and they were asking the New York government, blah blah blah. They are saying we are not going to give you support and all. You guys get fucked or whatever. Yeah. So the mayor in Miami, he's like, what can I do to help you guys? Like, so all these guys went to Miami and they set up shop over there. And now, like, the mayor of Miami is like so into crypto. They've launched a Miami coin. And like, I need to do like more research on what's happening over there. But that's like
Okay.
one of the first states. No, it's a city. So one of the first cities that's going into like a whole crypto scene.
Hmm.
Like it's like for the people by the people kind of a vibe, like in terms of
Nice.
how decision making is done in the city, what is required for the city to grow. In those terms, like that's what's happening in like one of the first cities over there.
Yeah.
Another place like where crypto is being used, say like there's a university in India. I think
Hmm.
Maharashtra State Board is using cryptos to give out certificates. So like the certificates cannot be hacked, or it cannot, that no changes can be made into it. Like there are different, like lots of applications to it. But in terms of like economies, like there's like it can be used like for, like in terms of policing, it can be used in healthcare, it can be used like there's
Hmm.
like it just can be used everywhere. Like once like
Basically, don't give that power to one person, you know?
exactly, if everyone has it, then
Yeah.
then it's not power, right? If
Yeah.
everyone has the same power, then it's
No,
not
bro, that
power.
system is lovely. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. This sentiment is lovely, bro. I'm just kind of wary of how it's going to turn out, you
So
know? Because that's
basically I
something we
feel
can't control.
how is it going to turn out is like basically you need to get into the scene, like get into like see like in the sense, get into the scene in the sense
Because,
like
see, right
listen
now
to what's
also,
happening, of how it's going to be applied, how it's going to be affecting the, like say if it's going to be applied in education, like how it's going to be changing that field. Say if it's going to be applied in banking and finance, that's a big one. Like so how it's going to be affecting that scene,
huh?
right?
No, but for instance, like say, for just in banking and say in
You're
terms
gone
of
away from the
finance,
camera, from the mic.
say in terms of like finance and all that kind of
Right.
stuff, in
Mm.
terms of the crypto market. So how does that market work? Like, does any kind of like the Bitcoin basically dictates the other coins rates? No, how does it work?
It does. I mean, it doesn't dictate the other coins. Like just because,
But has influence.
but yeah, it has influence. You can say it has like a good,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's also like, imagine like these coin owners, like, you know, if one coin just becomes like this big monopoly, like a Google or like a Facebook or something like that, you know, can they dictate the
But
market?
no.
They can't,
So
huh?
no, they can't, because like the community is such. Like I've been like following the community is such, like there is like, oh, there are like people like who are like only like Bitcoin, there are people like only Ethereum, there are people like only Cardano, and like various coins, like they are
Huh.
like supporters. But obviously that's on the surface, like they'll be like, oh, we are only this.
Hmm.
But under the surface, I'm pretty sure they are putting their, like they are not fools to keep all their eggs in a one basket, right? So I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
under the surface, like on Twitter, they'll be like, oh, shouting out, like just waving one flag, like waving a flag only for Twitter, but under the covers, they probably invested in the other person's thing and probably invested in the other thing as well, because they know at the
Exactly. Yeah.
end the people are going to be investing everywhere.
Yeah.
And like the applications of it are endless. So each, sometimes like some things are useless, like the Dogecoin, like it really has no application in the sense, like there was no purpose behind it. They just took a dog and they made it into a coin, like something like that,
Like a meme,
like
no?
a meme, like a meme coin, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are quite a
And
few of
because
these
Elon
meme
bought it
coins.
or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it blew up.
The
uh,
value blew up. Yeah.
Value blew up,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still, so like all of that, dude, like, but there'll be like still people like be like, oh, only Dogecoin, like, you know, like they'll just be waving that flag and just
Yeah.
be investing in that. But there's no one, like there's nothing going to be like all these other coins are going to die, because
And bro,
there are going to
also,
be,
does the big tech kind of have any influence with this Bitcoin market or
they have
whatever?
no influence on the market, no. But what's going to happen is, now what's happening in the scene is, so you know the SEC, so that is the Securities Exchange of council or whatever, yeah. I'm not sure what's the C in it, but
Okay.
it's like the Australian Federal Tax Agency in Australia, like
Hmm.
like a similar role, but this is for securities exchanges in the US. So like the current head, so those guys can have the regulatory power over crypto in the US. Okay, so the current guy who's heading it is actually options on crypto. They are working
Hmm.
towards like formulating something of how they're going to regulate all of this, right? They still
Hmm.
want their finger on the button.
Yeah.
If you in the sense like
Everyone wants the finger on the button. Yeah.
exactly. So, but in the but so in saying that, like companies like Apple and all, they're probably already invested in, but they've not openly
Hmm.
invested in it, and big tech like that. But once the regulations are in place and they know where they can stand, they are going to start investing even more. So,
Bro,
like,
Merrick, I can't hear you, bro. This is a very interesting conversation. I can't hear you.
what can I do for this, dude?
Like, yeah, the moment you speak, it just starts getting cut
Yeah.
off and like,
Okay.
it's pointless.
Yeah. Let's do this over the weekend, or maybe let me see if I can figure something out tomorrow then.
Huh, whenever.